Hi, I'm Allen-Perez. Welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to be ranking every book that Malala Yousafzai has picked for her literati book club so far. It's going to be 12 books ranked worst to best, and I'll also rate each individual book on a scale of 1 to 10. Malala Yousafzai is one of my personal heroes. If you don't already know who she is an education activist originally from Pakistan. To learn more about her activism, check out the Malala Fund website, and to learn more about her life, check out her autobiography, I Am Malala. I'm a big fan. I follow what she's up to. So when I saw that she was starting a book club that I could sign up for, I signed up right away. I didn't want to miss a single book that she selected for us to read, and I haven't. The Malala Book Club officially began in October 2020. As of September 2021, it has officially been a full year. We've read 12 books, one each month. The occasion of this video, of course, is the 1-year anniversary of the Malala Book Club. So without further hoopla, let's get into my rankings. Number 12 on my list, my least favorite book that Malala has picked, is The Dancing Girls of Lahore, Selling Love and Saving Dreams in Pakistan's Pleasure District, by Louise Brown. This one is non-fiction, if you couldn't already tell by the lengthy title. The author, Louise Brown, is a sociologist that works for Birmingham University in England. For her studies and the creation of this book, she lived with a family in Lahore, which is the second largest city in Pakistan. Brown has spent years researching the prostitution and sex trafficking of women and girls across Asia. The multiple generations of sex workers that are the focus of this book are part of a long traditional history of exotic dancers. I give this one a 3 out of 10. It wasn't the subject matter of this book that I disliked, but the way that it was written. It seemed like the author was too focused on her own experience and telling her story of living with this family. So I didn't really get into this book at all. However, I do have to give Brown some credit because I did learn while reading The Dancing Girls of Lahore, especially about the history of this ancient city and the origins and branching off of the religion of Islam. Number 11 on my list is Come Fly the World, the Jet Age Story of the Women of Pan Am by Julia Cook. This is another non-fiction book. This one was published this year in 2021. The author, Julia Cook, is the daughter of a former Pan Am executive. Come Fly the World is the story of Pan American Airlines during the 1960s and 70s. It focuses on the young women who became the famous image of the U.S. airline stewardess. I give this one a 5 out of 10. While it is an intriguing historical situation that's at the heart of this book, Come Fly the World felt pretty lukewarm to me by the ending of it. It seemed like Cook couldn't figure out how she wanted to write this book, either as an objective historical overview like a textbook would read, or like a more personal story of individual women and following their lives closely. As a result, a lot of the prose throughout this book lands in an awkward space between those tones. Number 10 on my list is Homegoing by Ya Gyasi. Homegoing is the 2016 debut novel by this author, Gyasi, who was born in Ghana and raised in Huntsville, Alabama in the United States. Somewhat epic, at least in its scale, for sure. The novel spans more than 2 entire centuries, starting with the slave trade in Ghana in the late 1700s. The reader follows a whole cast of characters, mainly from 2 families, or 2 branches of one family, across the 19th and the 20th century, and then even into the current century in present day. We follow characters across Ghana and the United States. The British are also involved, of course. I give this one a 5.5 out of 10. My main issue with this book is the pacing. Given the huge timeline and the big diverse cast of characters, Homegoing easily could have been 3 times longer than it is to tell all the stories that it needed to. New characters are introduced and abandoned too quickly. Right when I'm getting to know one set of characters and I'm truly getting invested in their plot line, the chapter would end, a new chapter would start, and we'd be introduced to a whole new cast of characters that we have to get to know and get invested in their storyline. Although I was invested in the plot lines at multiple points, and it does all connect, overall the pacing and the structure of Homegoing makes for a frustrating read. Number 9 on my list is Aftershocks by Nadia Owusu. This one is a memoir that was published in 2021. The author, Nadia Owusu, is a Brooklyn-based urban planner whose award-winning writing has appeared in a bunch of publications. Aftershocks, however, is her first full-length book, and it covers much of her personal life from her childhood to the present day. It starts with her mother abandoning her when she was 2 years old, and then becoming an orphan at the age of 13 when her father passed away. From there, she is tasked with finding herself someplace in the world as she literally travels all across the world, dealing with issues of race and the metaphorical aftershocks of colonialism. I give this one a 6.5 out of 10. This is a historically and emotionally heavy memoir. I enjoyed the earthquake metaphors throughout. Despite the interesting concept and how well it's used at the prose level, something about the way this book was structured or the way the stories are told made it feel like a pretty slow read to me. It is not a page turner by any means. I didn't find myself needing to know what was going to happen next, despite how well it was written. Number 8 on my list is Girl A by Abigail Dean. This is Abigail Dean's debut novel. She is a lawyer, formerly a bookseller, and she is right now living in London working on her second novel. Girl A follows Alexandra Grace, or Lex, who as a child managed to escape from her parents' abusive household where her and her siblings were held captive, neglected, and tortured. Years later, after the mother dies in prison, Lex is tasked with tracking down all of her siblings who have all moved on and are living their new lives of freedom. They all need to work together to figure out what to do with the House of Horrors where they all grew up and endured what they had to endure. I give this one a 6.5 out of 10. I like Dean's writing style in this. The story is told in first person from Lex's perspective, and it works well. It's sort of a classic limited perspective, even unreliable narrator. The pacing and the way the story is told throughout the chapters is interesting. It's non-chronological. We get a present-day timeline and then flashbacks to the House of Horrors. Though I slowly found the plot less interesting, Girl A is a good debut novel. I would consider reading the next book that Abigail Dean comes out with for her writing style alone. Number 7 on my list is 50 Words for Rain by Asha Lemme. Our protagonist in this book, Nori, is locked away in the attic of her grandmother's imperial estate. Nori's family is an important and powerful royal family in Japan just after the end of World War II. Nori is regularly subjected to baths with scalding chemicals intended to lighten her dark skin. And this is only the beginning of the torture inflicted upon poor young Nori by her family throughout the whole journey of this novel. I give this one a 7 out of 10. If you're a fan of telenovelas or soap operas, I think you'll enjoy this book. At the same time, if you're a fan of classic epic literature, I think you could also enjoy this book. The drama is over the top. The twists and turns throughout the plot line are wild and entertaining. It feels both old school and fresh. It is definitely a page turner. I really enjoyed it, and I would have rated it much higher if it weren't for the ending. I'll leave it at that. More like 50 words down the drain. Number 6 on my list is The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guillory. Guillory published this romantic comedy in 2018. Other than being a novelist, the author is a lawyer living in Oakland, California. It starts with a meet-cute, classic rom-com stuff. Our protagonist, Alexa Monroe, is in San Francisco at the Fairmont Hotel where she is going to meet her sister. So she's all dressed up, looking nice, ready to go out. Power goes out in the hotel. She gets stuck in an elevator. Oh, wait a second, there's another person stuck in the elevator too, and it just so happens to be a cute guy. While they're stuck in the elevator together, Alexa agrees to be this guy Drew's fake date to an upcoming wedding that he has to go to. I give this one a 7 out of 10. The Wedding Date is a cute and steamy romance. It's fun and genuinely arousing. There's plenty of drama that happens in the middle of it. They're an interracial couple. She works in Berkeley and he works in Los Angeles. The more serious real life challenges these characters face and that keep them them in the will they, won't they stage makes the wedding date a little bit better than the average rom-com. Breaking into the top 5, number 5 on my list is Are You Enjoying? By Mira Sethi. Are You Enjoying is a collection of 7 short stories, and it's Pakistani actress Mira Sethi's debut collection of writing. These separate but sometimes overlapping stories cover romance, belonging, fame, entertainment, and heartbreak. They all take place in contemporary Pakistan. They all add to each other and culminate in an interesting book of writing from a new voice in fiction. I give this one a 7.5 out of 10. Am I enjoying? I am enjoying. Thank you for asking. I'm excited to see what Sethi does next. Number 4 on my list is Other Words for Home by Jasmine Warga. This is Warga's first book for middle grade readers. Apparently before this she wrote primarily teen fiction. Other Words for Home follows the first person narrator Jude, who unexpectedly has to leave her home and her home country of Syria to move to Cincinnati, Ohio, but her brother and her father stay back in Syria. So Jude has to adjust to a new life in the US while going to a new school full of new people, all while missing the part of her family that is back home across the pond. I give this one an 8 out of 10. This is a great book for young readers. It would work well for readers transitioning to longer chapter books. Other Words for Home is uniquely written. It has its own style. At the same time, it's easy to read and a breeze to follow along with the plot. It feels really natural, like the character is sitting down with you, speaking to you face to face, directly from the pages of her diary. It makes Jude seem authentic and honest and down to earth as she searches for her own voice, her own language, and her own idea of home. Number 3 on my list is Tipping the Velvet by Sarah Waters. Sarah Waters' 1998 debut novel offers in-depth attention to lesbian romance and sexuality in late Victorian England. We follow the protagonist Nan King, a young woman who works in her family's oyster parlor in Whitstable. First, she falls in love with going to the music hall. Then she falls in love with one of the performers, a singing and dancing male impersonator. This epic coming-of-age adventure takes as many crazy places and situations after that. I give this one an 8.5 out of 10. Somehow the romance is pulse-pounding like a thriller. It's heart-racing. And it's not only romance. There's adventure, twists and turns, and plenty of drama throughout. It's really good. Number 2 on my list is Stolen Girls, The Survivors of Boko Haram Tell Their Story by Wolfgang Bauer. This is a brutal and compelling work of journalism. There's still so much that we don't know about the terrorist organization Boko Haram, when they got started, how they gained traction, and why they continue to spread their violence. What the experienced German journalist Wolfgang Bauer offers us in Stolen Girls is some context and a framework for understanding the stories that are directly told from some of the women and young girls who were able to escape from Boko Haram alive. I give this one a 9 out of 10. Wolfgang Bauer did a great job putting the interviews together. The girls' stories are, of course, the most important thing. However, the research that Bauer did helps us, the reader, understand the context and weave all of these individual stories into one narrative that makes some degree of sense. Number 1 on my list, my favorite book that Malala's picked for her book club is White Teeth by Zadie Smith. White Teeth originally came out in the year 2000. It is the British novelist Zadie Smith's debut novel, which she got published when she was only 25 years old. It was immediately successful. It sold a bunch of copies, won a bunch of awards, and to this day remains super popular amongst critics and regular everyday reading fans alike, myself included. The plot follows 2 families centered around 2 old friends who fought together as soldiers in World War II. Those 2 men who are reconnecting are Archie Jones and Samad Iqbal. Archie marries a woman from Jamaica named Clara, and they have a daughter named Irie Jones. Via arranged marriage, Samad marries a woman named Alsana, who is a Muslim woman from Bangladesh, which is where Samad is originally from as well, and they have a pair of twins, Magid and Milat. Across the 4 sections of White Teeth, all of these characters get plenty of page time as they live out the dramas of their time and place in multicultural London for the whole second half of the 20th century. There's family drama, relationship drama, work drama, school drama, all kinds of drama you could think of, socio-political dramas, you name it. I give this one a 10 out of 10. This book is hilarious and fun. It's also dramatic and maybe a bit heavy at times, but overall it's fun, it's fantastically written, and just a pleasure to read. As soon as I finished reading White Teeth, I wanted to flip back to page 1 and start reading it again. I highly, highly recommend White Teeth by Zadie Smith. Though I naturally like some books more than others, I am not at all disappointed by the Literati Book Club experience. I've been able to travel across England, Pakistan, Syria, Japan, Italy, Nigeria, and Ghana, all while staying in this apartment here in Sacramento, California. If you're watching this video because you are also a member of Malala's book club, I would love to hear what you think about all of these books. Which one was your favorite? Which one was your least favorite? How would you rank them? How would you rate them? If you're watching this video and you're not a member of Malala's book club, first of all, you're missing out. Second of all, though, I understand if you don't want to commit to a monthly book subscription. So I encourage you to think of which book I mentioned here sounds the most interesting to you. Consider checking it out from your local library. Obviously, you know which ones I recommend the highest, but everyone has different tastes, so trust your gut, follow your heart, listen to your organs. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy the next book that you read. Bye!